Even Alex Ramosi says, you got 4 or 5 big swings at business because each swing is like 5 to 10 years of really building a brand that takes a lot of time.
Yeah, I had probably at least 45 orders, which is pretty good. Shortly thereafter, I actually got my first wholesale client, and then the owner of the shop saw my product and she loved it. Within like a couple weeks, it was in her store. My top advice would come back to the branding and consistency again, because if you want people to spot you, be recognized, you need to be consistent.
If you left a sticky note on your first laptop, what would it say?
Probably say go for it.
At 24 years old, I was let go of my corporate job. By 34, I was financially free with an 8-figure net worth. This podcast is all about taking adversities and turning them into financial success stories. I'm gonna ask for one small favor, and that's for you to click subscribe. Now let's get to the journey.
Emily, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
So I've known you for a while, and now that I'm embarking in this creative journey, I see you online everywhere,
Yes.
and I'm so amazed.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm a mom of 3, very busy. I'm also back in the corporate world as well. So I'm doing a bit of small business and corporate at the same time. My business is called Boho and Glow, where I create candles and home fragrances that are vegan, natural, and safe for all homes.
And why'd you start that?
So, kind of a 2-part reason. So, I had 2 back-to-back mat leaves. My boys are very close in age, 15 months. So, I was really craving an opportunity to do something outside of just being a mom at home.
And it's funny because I have 2 boys too, and I can only imagine being home and just focusing on the family is one thing, but also having like a little bit of your own thing
Yes.
probably resonated with like, okay, I want to start something. Now, you started because you were allergic or had issues with what was on the market.
Yeah. So anytime I would purchase a candle and I would light it at home, like literally within 4 to 5 minutes, I would get a headache, I would get stuffed up, and I just could not use it. So that was another main reason for starting my business. I really wanted to create a safe line of candles that could actually be enjoyed for people that have scent sensitivities like myself. And it's actually amazing how many people can relate to that.
Yeah, so when you did like research, where you're like amazed of how many people have the same.
Yeah, I think it was more just once I created the line, there was a lot of people who reached out to me and said, "Oh my gosh, I have this issue as well." And there were people that, would ask, "Is it actually like free of all these toxins? Is it actually made with pure essential oils and non-toxic fragrances?" And I was like, "Yes, like try it out. And if you have an issue, please let me know." But everybody can relate. Well, not everybody, but there's a lot of people who have the same issue.
So take me back to 2020. So now your kids are wild
Yes.
because they're 2 boys. I
Yes.
can only imagine.
Yeah.
You want to start something.
Yeah.
You see a pain or problem in the market.
Yeah.
Is your first thing to do is do research, or like what was the first step?
Yeah, so I did a lot of research. I started actually watching a lot of YouTube videos on how to create these products. And then there's a lot of testing involved. Like when it comes to candles, there's so many different types of waxes, different wicks, different oils. And you can't just buy, okay, here, here, and here. Let's just make it, let's go. Every jar, every wick, it like you have to test it with all the different types of oils. There's a million types of brands. It's a really big testing process. So yeah, I started there and
So you're on YouTube and you're just searching like.
candle making, like that was my initial thought of like, how do I actually make a candle? Like, what's the process? There are also some bigger brands that offer the oils that also have teaching videos and stuff like that. So they're very reliable. And you can talk to these people as well. They'll help you if you have any questions. So that's kind of where I started my journey.
And what was your mindset while going through that? Because that could have been a very overwhelming process of like how to create it,
Yeah.
all the different types, hundreds of different items per each,
Yeah.
Manufacturing of the candles. Like,
Yeah. So the good thing is a lot of these bigger brands that I do purchase from, they have a lot of guides that will help you, that will set you up like, okay, if this is the size of your jar, you should be using this size of wick if you're using this type of wax. If you're using this type of wax, try this wick with this jar. Again, you still 100% have to test it on your own, but they give some pretty solid guidance of where to start.
and that process took weeks, months.
I spent a solid like 5 or 6 months on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
before
just doing research.
research, testing. Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time before I actually launched my website and started to actually sell my products.
And at that point, do you need a lot of costs or is it more just time?
It's more time, I would
Right.
say. Yeah.
So 4 or 5 months of doing research, getting it to a point where you could potentially sell a prototype or,
Yeah.
and then what do you do?
And then I started to build my brand. So, creating the logo, creating my fonts, trying to figure out what's the actual vibe that I wanted. And it actually took a longer process, but to create that, it takes a lot of time and commitment and making sure that you're creating the right brand for your product and one that fits me as well. So, there was that, and then building the website as well.
How did you know about branding?
So, my dad, he's retired now, has been for a while, but my whole life he was a partner at a graphic design studio. So, I worked with him to create my logo, create all my fonts, primary fonts, secondary fonts. He taught me all that good stuff. He taught me a lot of stuff in Adobe Illustrator. So, I would say for the first solid year and a half, he helped me out a lot of stuff. I was emailing him all the time. Can you set this up? Can you do this template? And then now, 4.5 years, I've been doing it all on my own.
So you're a pro at Adobe type of
I'm
thing?
pretty good at it. There's some complex stuff that I will sometimes get him to do for me, but I mean, I've built my own templates. I'm very particular with my brand. I think one of the biggest things in being successful with branding is being consistent in your brand. So, making sure that you are not switching up your fonts, you're not changing your logo, you have the same placements throughout your products and your packaging. And this is so crucial for creating recognition as a brand. Um, and I think I see in some other brands that there is inconsistencies, and I feel like it's really important to be consistent in order to be recognized as a brand. So when people are out, they recognize your stuff and like, oh, hey, that's Boho and Glow. Like I've seen her stuff from season to season. And it's just all very consistent so that you are recognizable from the start.
And how did you have that vision, like at the beginning, to foresee that?
That's a tough one. I would say at the beginning, I definitely not tweaked a lot. Like I have never once changed my logo. I've never changed my fonts. I've been very consistent with that. There's been a few collections where I have changed things a little bit. But yeah, it took time. It took time to actually I would say like a year and a bit until I was like, okay, this is what I want. This is my template. Every season, every collection, this is how it looks, the same look and feel.
And I think I have so many questions. Like, how did you get the name? Like, and why this? I feel like this is so important because I'm actually building a business right now and I'm going through the branding process and I am like hitting my head against the computer and the wall and I gotta do research and you know I get frustrated and then I stop and then I take 24 hours to go back to it and it's just this cycle of pure mental
Yeah.
capacity to get to a point where I'm like this is it.
Yeah, I think the thing too is like especially when you're researching and you're looking at stuff, you're getting ideas, it can be overwhelming with there's like so many different elements you can bring in. And then, maybe you build a brand and you're like, you see another brand, you're like, oh, but I like that. I like, what they're doing. So it's tough. And that's why I think when you pick something, I'm not saying you can't ever change it, but I think it's so crucial to stay consistent to create a brand that will be recognized when you are consistent with how you're delivering all of your stuff. In terms of how I created my name, I don't remember. Um,
Is there a significance to it?
there's not a huge significance to it. I think back like 5 years ago, I was really into like this white boho neutral vibe, and then I paired it with glow, like glow from a candle. Um, I don't remember actually. It's
So it was more of a preference
just
versus
like
like a
a name.
storyline.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And it like because a lot of people like I'm even me, I'm trying to create a story around it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like which gets me in a whole different aspect of
Yeah.
like, okay, this story and this brand and this color and
Yeah.
doing all that. So you went more for feel and look.
Feel and look. And I think, after running so many different names through my head, I got to a point where I'm like, okay, I just got to pick
Hmm.
And the way that the name went with the logo, it just kind of flowed. So I went with it.
And did you use anyone as a reference, like your dad, like your husband, like other people? Like, because I'm even seeing myself asking people around me, but
Yeah.
everyone has a completely different view.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I gotta just nail
Decide.
that.
That's the thing too, is when you get too many different
Yeah.
opinions, then you will confuse yourself,
Yeah.
right? Of like, okay, well, what do I want? What's the direction? So I think it has to really come from your vision and what you want. Um, but yeah, it's tough to initially pick.
And would you hire a logo expert? Like if you were,
I I probably would. Like if I did not have my dad that initially helped me, I probably would have. There's some amazing graphic designers out there, and the nice thing is they will give you, you give them your business name, you give them your vision, they will give you multiple options. You look at it, like what are some that catches your eye, and then you can kind of narrow down from there. Um, I probably would.
and then so once you pick the name,
Yeah.
you talk about primary colors.
Yes.
How many colors were you, like, did you stay consistent with the color scheme too?
So initially I had some like neutral tones that I went with. It wasn't so much it was more the primary fonts.
Okay.
So like you have a primary font, a secondary font that you kind of always like piece together depending on what parts you're using. Um, but fonts, I think, play a huge component to your branding as well. Because if you're constantly changing your fonts, it can cause a lot of confusion for the consumer of like, is this the same brand? Is this not the same brand? So I think just consistency as a whole is so important.
So now you have your name, you have your font,
Yeah.
and you're looking at TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
do you went right for Instagram? I'm
I did.
assuming.
I've actually only ever used Instagram as my platform. I think I explored TikTok for like a day and a half and I was like,
Hmm. It's not for you.
I'm not getting into this. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm too old
Yeah.
to get into it or what, but I played with Pinterest a little bit as well. I
Mm.
feel like that's one I want to get back into. I've heard that is actually really good for pulling sales. Um, but yeah, I've just been Instagram. I do a bit of marketing email, not too much. And actually, over the last month and a half, I did hire a small business, two women who specialize in advertising for Meta and Google Ads, and
Mm.
they are incredible. And the results have been unreal in just a month and a half. It's kind of one of those things where they have a fee for their services. They are very knowledgeable with both Meta and Google. And then you kind of pick per month how much you want to spend. What is your monthly budget towards Google ads and Meta ads? And they create everything for you from ads. They have this whole thing. They know how to target and get those people that are going to click. It's actually unbelievable.
So you do the organic
Yes.
and they do the paid.
Yes. So my business has been 100% organic up until a month and a half ago. So that's fine. I'm going on 6 years this February. So um, it's pretty incredible.
And the first 6 months or 5, 6 months was the research and the prototype.
Yes.
The the second half of the year was all about branding and like nailing down w- the e- the the color, like everything else. Like it took you a year before you really publicized it.
I wouldn't say a year. I would say solid like 5 or 6 months for all of it. Because as
Okay.
I'm doing the testing and the researching in the background, I was also working on the logo and all of that branding piece as well.
And did you have like a focus group of clients that you started out with that would test the product
Yes.
and like
Yes.
everything?
Yeah, I had a couple close girlfriends who like love candles. I know they buy candles all the time, so I was like, "Will you test these for me? Give me any feedback?" And that's kind of how I started.
And then after all that's done, so
Yeah.
now you have a product and you have a brand. You just start posting, or like what was your organic
I
kind of?
I just created an Instagram account. I had followers that obviously started with my immediate family and friends. And I linked my website on there. I chose a launch date, launch time. That's how it went. I think my initial launch, like day one, I think, gosh, I had probably at least 45 orders, which was pretty
Amazing.
good.
Yeah.
And then shortly thereafter, I actually got my first wholesale client. It was a spa in the Glebe, Third Avenue Spa. Um, I had brought a candle into one of the estheticians there who I was going to see. And then the owner of the shop saw my product and she loved it. And within like a couple weeks, it was in her store. So that, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Unbelievable. And
So,
before the launch, did you do anything prior? Like, did you like was it a 60-day, hey, I'm gonna be launching this product on
um, so I think I had started pouring, like I had decided on my initial scents. I started pouring, and then while I was posting, I think I did an initial post saying like launching on this day, this time. And then I would just kind of share all the scents one by one, any details that I had at that point, and then the website went live.
and then like yeah, partnerships. I didn't even really think about like spas and
Yeah.
like that's a huge thing then.
Yeah, yeah. Wholesale is huge. I mean, it's been huge for me over the last probably 3 or 4 years. I have probably around 40, 45 wholesale clients across Canada.
Nice.
I did have a few in the US, but I'm not shipping there at this time.
Right.
Um, but yeah, and I think probably every month I get a new inquiry about wholesale.
So now they're coming to you.
Yes, I have never once. It's funny, somebody asked me this recently. Do you do cold calls? Do you reach out to people to get in their shops? I have never once done that. So it's all just people finding me on Instagram or word of mouth or other shops having it. And yeah.
I'm so intrigued right now. Like literally like the step-by-step play. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is amazing. So you've launched now, you have 45 orders. Now what's your mindset of like, okay, oh shit, this is a business.
Yeah. Well,
Like
I
you're
mean,
managing a house too, right?
yes.
Like were you feeling overwhelmed of like, oh shit, what happens if this really takes off? Like,
Yeah.
how am I gonna manage my time? And
I think I really just took it like day by day.
Mhm,
My initial thought was never to have it where it is today.
mhm,
And I think I don't give myself enough credit for
right,
how much I've grown and how much I've done, because I do 100% of this all on my own, except for the new marketing piece where I've hired other people for over the last couple months. But honestly, during naps, bedtime, that's when I would work on it, and I just loved it. I thrive in it. I love creating, and it's pretty incredible to design a collection, launch it on the site, and then see it in all of these shops across Canada. So it's
right.
pretty cool.
And you have no employees?
None.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you create like so if you get an order of 100 candles
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
you're creating all the candles. I guess you're doing a lot of documentation too. So
Yeah.
so a lot of the social media comes from you creating.
Yes. That's the thing, is like it's never, people are always like, how do you create so much content? There's never nothing
I know.
to record.
Right.
There's always something that you can capture. I also recycle a lot of old content as
Mm,
well. I have like folders on folders. So there's definitely weeks where I'm like, I'm not inspired to record this
right.
week. So go in the archive, see what I got. But yeah, there's always something to share.
So when you're documenting, are you like did you get a room in your house? Like now that it's growing, was it like, oh shit, I need hey Sam, now you're
Yeah.
where you do all the accounting or whatever, get out.
Yeah, so it's funny. We have a 4-bedroom house, and our boys were sharing a room because I was using one of the rooms as my studio. And then it just got to a point like 2 years ago, I'm tripping on stuff. There's no room. So I basically took over our whole basement.
Okay.
And that's where I operate. I have definitely had times where I'm like, should I get a studio outside of here? Should I open up a shop? But it's just too convenient at home. I've got young kids. I just don't want to go that route.
Right.
Um, so yeah.
So you set up your whole basement.
Yes.
And was that like within the like right away or
It wasn't right away. I think I did it probably 2 years ago. So I was operating up in the bedrooms for quite a long time.
for until
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I need more
Yeah,
space.
yeah.
And like with your social media, so you have folders, like did you do research on how to set up a proper Instagram account or you just kind of figured it out?
No, I just figured it out. And I'm pretty strategic as well. I think just doing it so many times, season after season, because I launch seasonal collections like constantly. I just had this kind of rhythm that of what works. So typically before I launch a collection, I like to spend a solid 2 or 3 weeks talking about that collection. So sharing each scent, what's coming, what's available, to really hype it up so people can see all of the products that are offered, all of the scents. They can read a story about every scent before it's actually launched. Um, and it takes a lot of strategy to not only market that, but also launching your seasonal collections at the right time. So it's really important. It's better to be early to launch than to be too late. I see a lot of Christmas stuff launching now or targeted to launch at the beginning of December, but at the beginning of December, a lot of people are actually done their shopping. So it's really important to be in tune with the seasons and launching sooner than you want to.
So, like
Say.
for Christmas, when would you start your strategy and launch it?
So I launched the Christmas collection, I think it was the second last week of October. And so I actually started talking about it 2 or 3 weeks before that. And for sure, there's people at that time that are like, I don't care about Christmas. Why are you talking about this? But you have to, because then by the time you launch, people are there, they're ready to shop. They've got Christmas on their brain. So
Wow.
yeah.
So 3, 4 months before.
It's a lot, yeah. So actually all of my seasonal collections, so when I'm designing a collection, I like to do it at least 10 to 12 months ahead of that season.
Mm,
So as I wrap up a season, so for example, we're in the heat of Christmas right now. The beginning of December is when I'll actually take time to look back on those sales. What did great? What did not do great? Or what scents do I want to bring back? Which ones do I want to swap out? And I'll actually start to design that collection then while it's fresh in my head.
mm.
And then also packaging is a big thing. It takes time. So that's one thing that I like to get in production like ASAP so I have
Wow.
it. Yeah.
And your strategy, are you on a whiteboard laying out your strategy? Is it in your mind or like,
A lot of it is in my head,
mm,
but I do definitely have notes, of what I'm going to bring back next year, what I'm going to change, and I have just very strategic deadlines in my head, I would say.
and do you ask your audience what, like, the numbers is one thing.
Sometimes I'll do a poll in my stories. But for the most part, just from doing it time after time, I know what
Mm,
people want, what scents they like. And there are like people come back season after season coming back for those scents that they love, but they also like to see new as well.
mm.
So it's also key to bring in a couple new scents as well.
And when you were doing your marketing, did you have a person that you were target marketing, like a female, like a male?
No,
Were you, no,
not
okay.
necessarily.
Y-
I think just because I know my customer base from doing this on repeat for so long, I just kind of know.
So who's your customer?
I would say like middle age, female. I would say like 30s. Yeah.
And do you your marketing material, you try to think about that when you're
Not
posting? No.
necessarily. No, I think I always go back to just my brand, being consistent with the brand. How
Okay.
do I showcase this stuff and just really being consistent in that way? Um, yeah.
So now you have the operations pretty much nailed down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prior to starting a business, like, did you come from a corporate life or
I did. I worked in corporate for like 12 years.
doing what?
So I was an executive assistant. I did a lot of event planning as well.
Hmm.
I was also just born naturally an organizer.
Mm,
This is just like not a week goes by where I'm not organizing something, whether it's an event or closets in my house. That's just how I am. That's very natural for me. So then I had 2 back-to-back mat leaves. I decided to stay home. So I was a stay-at-home for 6 years, all of that launching Boho and Glow. I'm actually back at my corporate job as of last March, so I'm doing
wow.
both. Um, I know people are what's wrong with you? Like, how do you do this? And I don't know. I just thrive off of it, I
That's
guess.
awesome.
I think the people I work with in the corporate life, I have known for years. I'm very close with them, and I'm very lucky to have such a flexible corporate
Mm,
job where, um, I can still take the appointments for the kids and do all that. But yeah, some days it's a lot.
mm. So operations, marketing, now building your social media.
Yes.
So you started at zero.
Yeah.
Tell me about that journey. Like it must have evolved.
Yeah. So I think, it's funny. Social media has changed so much over the last, I would say even a year and a half. Sometimes people are posting stuff, even now. Like when I would post 3 years ago, every video would get tons of views. And now it's like the algorithm is you don't know what you're gonna get,
Mm,
right? I think a lot of it, they like to see a physical person in the video. Those ones always take off as opposed to just products or
Mm.
whatever. But I think how it started for me 3, 4 years ago, just like one of my videos went viral.
The 1.5 million, I saw.
There's 1.5 and there's a couple that are
Okay.
around the million or like 750,000. There's a couple
Wow.
that went off. And there's no rhyme or reason for it. I have no idea. It was just like a good luck day. I don't know. And then that's just kind of how the growth happened.
So now you talk about at the beginning, are you posting? So you've been your market, your social media strategies documenting while you create,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It's not education. Is there education aspects to it?
There's not. I've had a lot of requests for that. People are constantly messaging, can you do a candle course? I
Right.
have a lot of other, even photographers locally or anyone with a small business, they're constantly asking me, like, can you please put out a course of how to be organized, how to be ahead of
Right.
the seasons? And I would love to do that. I think I haven't quite figured out how I would present it and how I would offer it. Like, would it be a playbook? Would it be an in person session? That's like, I don't know. But no, I don't have a lot of education on my Instagram. It's more products, process, that kind of stuff.
So your mind, when you see these requests, do you like put them in a corner of your mind and be like, unless I can fulfill them from A to Z, I'll
Yeah.
keep them there until I find a strategy for it?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I get a lot of the same questions. Can you coach me? Can you
Mm.
do the course, please? How do I get organized? And I don't know how I would present it and how I would deliver the material. So I don't want to promise that I'll do anything that I.
Do you think it would hurt your brand if you didn't have the full?
That's another thing. I don't know because I know that a lot of I have a good chunk of followers that are also candle makers. So a lot of them are following me for the inspiration
Mm.
um, and the process and getting ideas on how to do their brand. So I don't know.
And what's your thought about like those people that are technically your competitors? Do you view them as a competitor?
That's a tough thing. It's a tough one. I get a lot of questions, even just people saying like, "Where do you get your boxes? Where are they printed? Please,
Okay.
please, where do you get them? I can't find a good quality box." And it's not that I don't want to share. It's not that I don't want to be helpful, but I think the number one thing is I have put so much time
Right.
into testing these products. I order samples. I make sure that they're good quality. And if I can put in that work, then so should you.
Right.
So,
So unless you're offering a course or something,
yeah.
which because there's more questions that come from it. It's not just here's the supplier that I use.
Yes,
It's here's the whole process,
exactly. And
right?
it's,
And so once you open up that can,
yeah,
you're opening up that can.
yeah. And
So
I
you're
just like,
putting a boundary to it.
for sure, like, why should I just hand over my notebook that I
Yeah.
have worked on
Right.
for almost 6 years now? It's
Right.
just, it doesn't seem fair to myself.
Right.
And I do feel
Yeah.
bad. Like, I don't want to be rude to not give it away, but I've also worked very hard. So,
Yeah. And I think one thing for me, the shiny object syndrome is a huge thing for me that I'm trying to like as an entrepreneur, I see all these opportunities. I want to do this. I want to do
yeah.
that. I've like installed a 24, 48-hour rule for myself to be like, okay, I got this request. I
Okay.
know I can make money on it,
Okay.
but I'm not you can only spend so much time on a few items. Like I hear like even Alex Hormozy says, you got 4 or 5 big swings at business because each swing is like 5 to 10 years of really building a brand that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Really choose what you spend your time on
Yeah.
because time is gone and it takes so much effort and I would say even more effort now than 5 years ago when I started my first business, I was like a Google search and I would get a whole bunch of different clients.
Yeah.
Then everyone went on to SEO,
Okay.
right? And
Yeah.
everyone now it's a lot more competitive if people are even using Google, right? And like Instagram now, would you think you'd be able to have this following if you started today versus 5 years ago
I,
because of more competition and now
yeah, there's a lot. It's funny. I used to do local markets all the time, like these seasonal local markets. I mean, I've definitely, I don't know, saying past the point of doing those, but I'm so busy that I don't need to do them. But if you go to these markets, you are in a row and there's like 10 candle makers.
Right.
And it's actually what, like, it's very competitive.
Yeah.
I very much stick to myself because I don't like to get involved in any of that kind of stuff. But it's true. If like somebody walking down a market aisle, there's 10 candle makers. How am I supposed to choose? So it's
I went to 613 Flea
yeah.
on Saturday, on
Okay.
Sunday, yeah, Saturday, and it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like you don't know where to go,
Yeah.
and everyone seems like they're selling something
Yeah.
that is very similar. So
Yeah.
the competition's a lot higher now.
Yeah. But even as a consumer, it's so overwhelming to
Yeah.
go. They've got I don't know how many 613 has, but there's another market that went on this weekend that I did a couple years back, and they have 250 vendors. And it's like, I don't think that these people are thinking about strategy or anything like that. They just want to get as many tables filled as they can, right? From a financial perspective. I will do some smaller events now where it's like, 5 brands, you're all different. People are coming there to shop. They know your brand. They're coming to see you. So that's very different than those markets. Um, but yeah, it's definitely very competitive.
So now when you started 5 years ago, like those viral videos went off
Hmm.
and you got a large amount of following from them,
Yeah.
but was it the consistency that got kept in building?
I think so. I've been very consistent from the start. I try to post every day. I've scaled back a little bit. But yeah, it's a consistency of constantly getting your brand out there, getting new people to discover you, even your current customers. Like they want to see your stuff, they want to see what you're up to, especially those very loyal ones that want to see what you're offering. They don't want to miss out on the next drop or whatever it is.
And when you're doing it, posting once per day, are you posting like a reel per day, or like when you say once per day, what does that mean?
I try and do either a reel or a post or like a carousel.
Okay.
Usually, what I try to do, just from an organizational perspective, is I'll sit down on a Saturday or Sunday. I'll spend 30 minutes. I'll say, okay, I'll actually use my notes in my phone. Okay, what am I going to share Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? It's all set up so that all I have to do is go on at my around 8:45 a.m. time and post.
So you set it all up on
Yeah.
the weekend. So you have a little strategy internal
Yeah.
session with yourself.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to wake up the next day and I'm going to
Yeah.
say, okay, what am I going to post? And it's probably not going to be
Right.
meaningful or, you
Reactive.
know, get a good reaction if it's just a random thing I'm picking. And
And you post Saturday and Sundays too?
I try to, yeah.
So 7 days a week, carousel or reel.
Yeah.
And then how about your stories?
Usually I'll share in my stories new stuff that is coming, a countdown to a collection, or something that's being restocked, or even just resharing the reel or the carousel on my stories as well.
Do you do collabs?
Um, I don't do a ton of collabs. I do a lot of custom candles and packaging and stuff like that, but not a ton of collabs.
So like a partnership with a spa, would you do any co-marketing with them to
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
has anyone came to you and said, "Hey, could you sponsor this?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I get a lot of like people reaching out for charity stuff or raising funds for this and that, and absolutely, I'm always down for that.
Okay, so and
Yeah.
you connect with them
Yes.
if it's a cause you're
Yeah.
good with. Wow. Now, from a consistency perspective, is it you said 8:45 to 9, is it every day the same time you make a post? Does that matter?
I don't know if it matters. I do follow some people or one person in particular on Instagram that is like a pro at Instagram that makes suggestions, and the biggest thing is consistency. Try to be consistent with when you post, what you're posting, and all that. So I feel like just out of habit, it's always been around that time.
And how long are you recording your documentation? Like to create a reel now, do you just use the like is there a specific app that you use?
I do it all just through Instagram Reels.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just perfected
I just
Instagram
do that, go in, edit it. I always make sure to save it to my phone first because
in case
there's
something
been times that drafts have been gone, but it's pretty quick. Like I think because I've been doing it for so long, it's really easy for me do a quick snip of this, and I know that it'll jive together.
And it's funny because practice makes perfect for sure. And when you start the social media journey, it takes so long
Yes.
to do the captions, do the titles,
Yeah.
and do the edits. But
Yeah,
then once you keep on doing it, it becomes a lot more straightforward.
for sure. Yeah.
So you have a corporate job. The one thing I give you a lot of recognition for is I see like not only are you doing the reels and you're engaging with people and you're creating the brand and you're creating strategies and you're doing the operations, but your engagement, like you follow up with people,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
do you have an assistant for that
No,
or
no, it's all me.
so are you like get a notification? Like is it like respond? Like how do you
So I will say I get tons of DMs every day.
right?
I know there's also folders that are like request folders, so I don't
Mm,
always get to all of those. So I do here and there try and make a point of saying in my stories, like if you're trying to reach me, like please email me, because that's like I don't go 24 hours without answering an email. But through the DMs, I'm pretty good at responding. Like
very good.
as soon as I see it, I try and respond right away. Otherwise, I'll get distracted and forget. But I think it's just a commitment and a loyalty thing. Like I don't want to leave anybody hanging. I don't want people to think that I've forgotten about them or I don't care to answer. And I think communication is so important, especially in a business and just everyday life. So I try and answer as quick as I can.
And liking and commenting, like, are
Yeah.
you consistent with that too?
I'm pretty good. So usually what I do is if I post a reel or a story, I'll get some comments. And then usually what I do is when I post the next day, I go back to the
Mhm.
previous reel or post, see if there's any comments or anything like that. I like all those, respond. And that's just kind of my method for not forgetting.
And then that post, you move on to the next post type of
Yes.
thing because you don't, yeah.
Yeah,
Because some people post a few days after and it's
for
just like,
sure.
yeah, but you just,
Yeah.
yeah, you can't manage it all.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it'll pop up in a notification and I'll notice it. So I try and go back.
So now we know your business.
Yeah.
Let's see it. So you have a couple of
I
supplies.
do, yeah.
Yeah.
Share some with you. Mm.
So what is, oh, you tell me. Yeah.
So this is a linen and room spray. I love these. They are
And this is all your Christmas collection?
yes, this is
Yeah.
Christmas collection. So we've got our candle, we've got a hand soap, room spray. I also do reed diffusers as well. I do lots of gift sets and all that fun stuff. So we've got a linen and room spray. These are wonderful. People love these. They last long in the air and in the bottle as well. We've got our 8-ounce candle, and we also have a hand soap.
And what's a popular one?
Uh,
What?
scent wise, so for the holidays, anything that has like evergreen or anything that classic Christmas tree scent people love. This one has a hint of apple in it. It's evergreen and apple. People love this one. I think it's actually almost sold out, couple left. Um, but yeah, and this is the branding that you will kind of see throughout every season. The placement of the candle name, where the textile is, you'll see this season after season. That does not change.
Okay, so everything there doesn't change.
That's
Just
right. I swap the colors, I swap the candle name, but for placement with the text, the logo, everything like that, it stays the same.
it's so sharp.
It's very clean, very modern, simple. Yeah.
Love it. Now shipping is do you have to be under a certain weight to ship across Canada? Is like
Shipping is a beast. My wholesale clients that do order a lot, the shipping it's very expensive, but that's they do pay for their shipping. I do offer orders over 150. I will comp the shipping, but everything else is kind of just tallied on the website based on the weight.
And the for the states, was the tariffs and all the extra fees just getting too overwhelming for everything?
I just
Yeah,
decided to cut it.
from a yeah,
Yeah.
cost perspective
Yeah.
and everything. Well, you definitely need new branding. I'm shocked you're not working for like a branding
I
like
honestly, I
company.
probably should be,
Yeah.
for sure. But
So before we get into the lightning round where I ask you some specific questions,
okay.
did we miss anything? You talked about your family, you talked about your,
You think?
and especially for creators who are starting out or in this journey that want to build an audience and build a brand
Hmm.
and want to be where you are, but are in the 1, 2, 3 year timelines. And yeah, what would
I think my top advice would come back to the branding and consistency again. I see time after time people changing text, fonts, logo placement, all that. Just create a logo, find your fonts, figure out what vibe you want to go with, and just stick with it. Because if you want people to spot you or spot your brands out there and be recognized, you need to be consistent.
okay?
Yeah.
So lightning round.
Okay.
What single metric do you check daily that most founders ignore? So is there something on a day-to-day basis, number wise?
I think so. In my Shopify store, I think the number one thing that I'm always checking is my year to date sales and how it compares to last year. Am I going to beat it? I mean, not that that's necessarily a priority, but I'm always curious to know, like, how is this year going to wrap up compared to the previous year? I'm going on 6 years of business, and every year, like, I have had a consistent uphill every year, which has been pretty incredible. But I think in the back of my mind, I'm always like, am I going to beat it this year? Is it going to be the same? Am I going to do maybe a little less? One of the things this year that I totally dropped was doing in person events. I think I did one. But previous to this year, I was doing 2 or 3 markets every season. And that can drive a lot of sales as well. And from cutting that, I thought maybe this year I would maybe come a little under in comparison to last year, but that's not the case. So I kind of, I guess, prove to myself that I don't need to do those. But yeah, the number one figure I guess I would check, or something that I would check every day, is just that, the
Yeah.
sales. Yeah.
So you need $10,000 in new revenue in 30 days with $0 in ad spend.
Oh dear.
What's your first move?
Probably more email marketing, I would say.
Tell me more.
So with email marketing, so I have a certain number of subscribers that are part of my email list, that check my email list. I can see the data of who's opening it, who's clicking, who's making those purchases. I definitely do not send enough of those, just from time perspective. So I think I would probably drive that more. And I think also the fact that I have hired my marketing friends over the last month and a half, I think I would probably increase my budget there with Google Ads and Meta Ads, and that would probably help me.
Would you name drop these individuals? Like, do they have capacity to take on other clients
Yeah, they totally could.
and you'd recommend them?
Yes, they're
Okay.
amazing.
Um, what's your unfair advantage right now?
Unfair advantage. Oh, geez. I don't know.
I think branding. I mean, I could see a lot.
Okay.
You don't have any employees,
Yeah.
you're self-run. I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, the way I think about business is like, okay, branding, outsource that.
Yeah.
Instagram, outsource that. I'm thinking of optimizing my time.
Yeah.
Um,
I
to
think I think it's more because I think it's maybe I'm a bit more sensitive. It's my brand. It's what I've built, and I'm very not untrusting, but I am probably a little bit controlling of how it's done. And maybe it's a trusting issue of having it done right. But again, the marketing team that I've hired, they have proven unreal results to me. And maybe that's a good stepping stone for me to start to use resources elsewhere.
Have you ever thought about building a personal brand? Like, why pick a name and not put it under your personal brand? Like yourself, your
Yeah.
name. Was that ever a consideration?
Mm,
Or you wanted a separate name,
I
separate
think
brand?
separate,
Okay.
just to like remove myself a little bit. And I guess not make it all about me, but make it more about the product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever post any family, friends, anything other than the product and the
Yeah.
journey?
I try and share some personal pieces here and there because I think people really like to see, like who you are as a person. Just even things like going to the gym
Right.
or like sharing my kids' birthdays, or both my boys play hockey. So I'm sharing that. Like that's where I'm at an arena on the weekends. Like that's what I do outside of this.
Right.
I have also shared that I'm back at my corporate job as well. Um, I used to teach a lot of yoga as well, so I would talk
Mm,
about that. So yeah, I try and touch a little bit of personal without being too much.
right. What's one non-negotiable boundary that protects long-term credibility?
Can you repeat that again?
So what's a boundary that you set? I mean, I think we talked about one of the boundaries, your competitors or people that are in your space,
Yeah,
asking for specific items
yeah,
that you have, kind of saying, putting a boundary up there until
right,
you have a playbook.
right.
Is there any boundaries with customers that
I've been very lucky. I haven't had,
partnerships?
um, gosh, um, I think maybe a personal priority is just that like my family comes first,
Mm.
right? Like, sorry, if I can't pack your order in 24 hours, like you'll have to wait. That's maybe a boundary. Um, but yeah, the boundary with the competitors and other makers, trying to get info out of me for their benefit, I think that's a strong boundary for sure.
And do you give a 24-hour like turnaround time on delivery? Is that an
No,
internal?
like that's pretty tight. I usually like on my website, I usually say allow 5 to 7 business days. But I'm pretty quick. I don't like things sitting and I like to get them off my list and out the door. Um, so usually within a week, it's en route to wherever it needs to go.
And do you have a mailing list? Like, like do you do a newsletter like once a month?
Yeah. Yeah. I try and do it once a month. So that's all sitting in my Shopify account. I've got subscribers. I think I have like 700 or a little under 1,000 subscribers. Um, So most of my marketing email is mostly about collections that are coming out. But usually on anniversary, like my business anniversary, I'll send out like a newsletter and stuff like that.
So you'll send it out to those subscribers.
Yes.
And how do you get these guys or these people to subscribe?
So they can subscribe through the website. Usually towards the end of their order, they're asked if they want to subscribe.
Mm,
They can opt in or out. So I can only like legally send these emails to those people who
right.
have subscribed.
And then the content there is about and the seasonal collection, what's
Hmm.
coming out. Like,
Yeah.
is it always like forward thinking type of thing of like what's coming in the future?
So I usually like to drop a marketing email like a week before a new season's
Gotcha.
dropping. And then as the collection goes live, then I'll send out an email saying, like, hey, this is live. Here's the sense, sharing a bit of a story. And that's it.
And so another question, was there any cringe post that you kept that led to a paying client? So like thinking of the beginning of the journey potentially, was it like, damn, that was not for maybe for you, maybe not cringe, but that wasn't on brand or consistent with my message that you would want to take back or didn't take back, but it just resonate with people?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been pretty lucky. I haven't had many problem customers or clients, or I think maybe going on 6 years of business, I think I've maybe had 3 or 4 wick problems where someone had an issue with their wick. Maybe it's because they weren't trimming it or whatever the reason is. And I just try and solve those as quick as possible by shipping them a new product, making them happy. Um, but yeah, I've been very blessed to not have many issues.
And any bad comments or negative press on social media?
Never.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Because these days you
I
don't
know.
know what's going on.
I know. All the trolls out
All the
there.
trolls out there, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Last question.
Okay.
If you left a sticky note on your first laptop, what would it say?
Probably say go for it. I remember before launching or actually even starting my candle process, I reached out to a friend and I was like, I'd love to start a candle line, but there's so many candle brands out there. I just don't know if I would do good. And she said to me, go for it. And so I did.
Well, Emily, I really, really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much. I know I reached out to you and like put you on the spot a little bit to come on.
Oh, good.
I know it's your first podcast. You killed it. It- the one thing I really resonate, I can completely see how this brand is successful. I mean, you've thought of every single aspect of it, and I do think a lot of entrepreneurs like myself, we outsource a lot of stuff rather than get into the weeds and actually do it.
Hmm.
And if you do it, you understand the process. If
Yes.
you document the process, and share it, you build such a connectivity with your audience. And I do think everything you've done is not by coincidence, it's by design, and you really think about it. And even just there's so many other opportunities out there. You just thinking about your next move and it being with your core values of family first, doing all these things, and that's an add-on if you wish to do it. I mean,
Hmm.
you just got your priorities nailed down
Yeah.
and your brand. And
Yeah. And that made me think of something else. I think one of my mottos is I need to be 10 steps ahead of everybody else in order to be successful, and to just create a solid brand recognition for Boho and Glow and myself and what I've created. So, again, it all comes back to not just branding, but being organized and being way ahead of the game.
and for sure it has. If people wanted to get a hold of you,
Yeah.
reach out to you, what's the best way?
Probably email. Yeah. hello@bohoandglow.ca
And your Instagram handle?
is at Boho and Glow.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank you.
Share this with a friend so that they could be a part of this journey too. Keep watching for more.